AJ Styles just made a pretty big reveal, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out what's going on with Bobby Lashley, Jeff Hardy, and more. Starting things off with AJ Styles and his big reveal. AJ hasn't been shying away from the fact that his overall retirement from the ring is getting extremely close to taking place. AJ Styles has been very vocal about this fact, and the retirement angle has even been implanted in some of his recent storylines on WWE television. But now AJ's making the big reveal that he might have already had his final match in Japan. WWE recently toured Japan this summer, and AJ Styles competed at those events. During a recent interview, AJ Styles revealed that over the last few years, he created a tradition for himself to always wear an entrance mask to the ring whenever he competed in Japan. And he did that during this summer 2024 Japan tour. He always had an entrance mask that matched his gear for the night. But the reveal came during a backstage WWE vlog, where AJ Styles said that this recent Japan WWE tour might have been the final match where AJ wears a mask to the ring. AJ is saying that it might be the last time he wears it since he only puts it on in Japan, and how he's unsure when the next time he'll compete in Japan. WWE's Japan schedule could be a bit unpredictable at times. They could end up going a few years in between Japan tours. That's why AJ Styles is putting it out there that this could have been his final match with his entrance mask, because if WWE comes back to Japan in a few years, there's a good chance he'll be retired by then. AJ Styles has been talking about his retirement for a long time, so everyone knows it's coming. But hopefully he goes on a mini farewell tour, and he goes out on top with some amazing matches. Bobby Lashley has been the talk of the town in recent weeks because no one really knows what happened to him and his WWE status. Bobby was presented as the leader for the Pride, a faction consisting of B-Fab and the Street Profits. But out of nowhere, Bobby Lashley just vanished from WWE television with no explanation, and B-Fab and the Street Profits just kept things going on their own, as if he was never there to begin with. Then it was reported that Bobby Lashley's contract expiration was coming up, and how it was looking like there was no plan to really bring him back. Well, Bobby Lashley is now speaking and sharing his words on what happened and what's been happening ever since. During an appearance on The Laboratory, Bobby Lashley had this to say about his lack of connection with Triple H. Quote, "I had a connection with Vince. Vince understood me. Vince was big on the show. He looked at people that were stars. He saw that in me. There were a lot of little nuggets that Vince would give me throughout my career and tell me different things. Vince looked at me like, I can tell Bobby works his ass off. I can send him anywhere around the country to represent the brand. He looked at me like a star. I liked Vince." End quote. So it looks like Bobby Lashley wasn't trying to speak negatively about anyone, but that's the reason right there that he was alluding to. He feels like there was a deeper bond and connection between Vince McMahon and himself over Triple H and himself. Lashley says that Vince McMahon legitimately viewed him as a major star that could represent the company in every single country they go to. And we did get to see some big examples of Vince McMahon's trust in Bobby Lashley during that 2020 to 2022 timeframe. That was the timeframe where Bobby Lashley broke out into a major main event superstar with multiple WWE world title reigns. Sure, there were still some questionable and controversial decisions made during that timeframe as well, such as the breakup of the Hurt Business. But throughout it all, Vince McMahon always kept Bobby Lashley as a strong main event star. And once the entire regime switched, Bobby Lashley did slowly fall out of the main event category, and he believes that it's because Triple H and himself didn't have a deep bond and true understanding of each other. He knows he wasn't a Triple H guy, so that's why he feels like he's slowly falling out of the rotation. Bobby Lashley is allegedly a free agent, and he's hinted at the idea that he wants to continue wrestling, so fans are very curious to see where he ends up at. He even said that he has an interest in boxing as well, so a lot of big things are still coming up for Bobby Lashley's career. Jeff Hardy did something early in his career that probably no one else can say. Jeff stepped foot in the ring with a prime Razor Ramon when he was just 16 years old himself. Jeff Hardy recently spoke with Busted Open Radio to reveal how his first match experience almost made him give up his wrestling career before it even started. Jeff Hardy had this to say about that explanation, quote, "When I think about that match, I just know that the ring back then was so hard. I was probably 185, 190 pounds, and oh, it was so hard. We have never been in it before, and he, Scott Hall, was stiff with a few things. I was 16, just terrified, you know? It was rough. When it was over, I was like, oh my God, I don't ever want to do that again." End quote. But Jeff said his retirement from wrestling after that match was very short-lived, because he ended up facing Sean Waltman the same week. And Jeff said that that match refilled his soul and made wrestling fun again, so he stayed on track to be a pro wrestler. It's just pretty crazy to look back and realize that had he given up after the Razor Ramon match, there would have been no Jeff Hardy at all, no memories or anything like that. As far as what's going on with the Hardys right now, reports continue to claim that they have a working agreement with TNA Wrestling, not an actual contract, but just a working partnership. It was also reported that the Hardys did meet with WWE officials during SummerSlam weekend, but it was allegedly just to film some WWE digital content, such as interviews for documentaries and things of that sort. But fans are still very curious to see if there's one final WWE run on the way for the Hardys. There's some exciting new faction-on-faction action going on over at Smackdown. After struggling for weeks against the numbers advantage of Alba Fire, Isla Dawn and Blair Davenport, Bianca Belair, and Jade Cargill finally got some major help. Naomi made her return to SmackDown to save Jade and Bianca. This, of course, is a reunion of the Big Three faction that we saw earlier in the year. Naomi, Jade, and Bianca first came together in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania to take on Damage Control, and the Big Three made very easy work out of Damage Control and handled them in dominating fashion. The Big Three went their separate ways after WrestleMania when Naomi was going after the WWE Women's title, and Jade and Bianca were going after the Tag Team titles. But now the Big Three have officially reunited on WWE television, and it looks like they'll stay together to try and counter this new heel trio that's popped up in recent weeks. So it'll be exciting to see how the Big Three work together again, and if there's going to be any twists and turns along the way. Blair Davenport already accused Bianca and Jade of having a fake friendship, so we'll see if there's more to come from that angle, and if Blair has some proof to back up her claims. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.